So as we said, we wanted to play a game for the latter half of this episode. And Nick, you came up with this idea slash game. So why don't you explain to our audience what we're going to be doing here?
Okay, so when I was coming up with ideas, I was like, oh, Harry Potter for the universe that I'd want to live in. I was like, okay, Harry Potter, but also I don't want to go to a school that loses at least 10 students per year. Um, that ratio is too high for me. So I was like, let's do the Sorting Hat instead because I love organization. And I think it's really fun. First of all, what we're going to do, I'll explain the game first. We're going to sort popular figures into the four different houses. Most of them are celebrities. Into one of the four different houses. I will explain the descriptions of each for those who haven't seen the Harry Potter movies or read the books. Gryffindor is the first house. Their characteristics are brave, chivalrous, daring, confident, courageous, and valiant. Then there's Slytherin, which is cunning, determined, ambitious, resourceful, innovative, and accomplished. Then Ravenclaw, wisdom, intellectual, clever, sharp-minded, logical, creative. And then Hufflepuff, loyalty, tolerance, patience, hardworking, friendly, and dedicated. So those are the four houses. Gryffindor has, for colors, just because I want to give you guys a mental image if you don't know, red and gold, and it's connected to fire. Slytherin, which I didn't know, by the way. Slytherin, green and silver, connected to water. Hufflepuff, yellow and black, representing wheat and soil, and connected to earth. And then Ravenclaw, blue and bronze, which is representing the sky and the eagle. So those are the four houses, and we're going to sort people into them, sort celebrities. But, Justin, I'm curious to see if I can guess your house and you can guess mine. Do you know your house?
I do know my house. And I just want to clarify, too, for those who have not read or seen any of the Harry Potter movies, the houses are... How would you explain them? They're just kind of like... So in your first year at Hogwarts, which is the wizarding school, you get a talking hat that's placed on you, and you're placed into one of the four houses. And so it doesn't necessarily mean anything...
It reads your personality.
It reads your personality. So it's kind of, that's a good way to put it. So it's kind of more of like a personality rating than it is like what you're going to study or things like that.
Right. You don't have to study based on your house, but your house is like who you live with, basically. There are four different houses and...
There's like clubhouses too and things like that.
Yes, but what they use your attributes to put you with like-minded people. So that's what we're going to do.
That being said... I'm a visual learner, and you just read all of those, to me, I heard it in my ears and stuff, but I don't know if I got all of those adjectives. So when we name these celebrities, I'm probably just going to be like, on a surface level, they seem like a Slytherin.
Totally fine.
Or something like that.
Totally fine.
Welcome to Pseudoscience with Point of View. There's no science regarding this game, relating to this game.
Exactly. Do you want to go first in terms of guessing mine, or should I guess yours first?
Sure, I'll try and guess yours. When we were talking about this idea, I was thinking about what you might be, and again, I just completely all of those adjectives just went in one ear and completely out the other. I'm so sorry, but
all good.
Are you a Hufflepuff?
I'm not, but I could be. I think that's my second. That would be my second, because I do really value loyalty and tolerance, patience, kindness. I think that is my second house. But if there were second houses, but I always get Ravenclaw when I take the quizzes.
Okay.
Which is sharp-minded, creative, intellectual. So yeah, I always get Ravenclaw. But I think mine, if I were to rank mine would be Ravenclaw, then Hufflepuff, then Slytherin, then Gryffindor, because I don't consider myself very brave. But I was gonna put you, if I were to guess, my first guess was also Hufflepuff, but then I was like, I could also see Gryffindor, because I think you're very, confident and brave and courageous. So, which I'll go with. Do you want me to pick one?
Yeah, pick one.
I'm going to say Hufflepuff. I'm going to say Hufflepuff, but I feel like I'm wrong.
Okay. So I want to keep in mind that the last time, so we can link it in the description. Pottermore is the
Yes.
is the website that I took the thing on, that took the house quiz on, and was placed into it. The last time I took it I was in high school, so
Okay.
I could have changed. I've definitely changed since when I was in high school to where I am now. But the last time I took it, I was also Ravenclaw.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I think, let me look at it again. I think yeah, that makes sense. You're sharp-minded, you're intellectual. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know
You're
a lot about
wise.
the Ravenclaw and the Hufflepuff.
You don't. Or Hufflepuff, yeah, because it's always Slytherin versus Gryffindor, and it's funny because Hufflepuff gets a bad reputation in the way that they're like the weird ones, even though like I think it's a really cool, even though we both just said each other would be in Hufflepuff, but like I think it's a really cool group, and I think that's partially why I might end up there. But like I think Hufflepuff and even Slytherin get a bad reputation because Slytherin's seen as like the evil ones, because a lot of like Voldemort was Slytherin. The bullies in the books are usually Slytherin, like Draco, like all of the Death Eaters. But that's not necessarily the case, because if you listen, it's cunning, determined, ambitious, resourceful, innovative, accomplished. So really, it's just how you use those gifts. And I think you can use any of the gifts from any of the houses, including Hufflepuff, in the wrong ways, like dedication.
Keep in mind, Harry, as in of the Potter variety, was a Slytherin. The first house he was placed in was Slytherin, and he was like, no, I don't think so. And then it was like Gryffindor. So.
Yes, that is true, because the Sorting Hat takes requests. So I have a little bit of like a picking out of the hat. You see what I did there? Randomizer on my phone of celebrities, and Justin and I both contributed to this list. We're obviously not going to get through all of them. I'm going to shake the Sorting Hat, and we have Simu Liu.
Simu Liu.
Simu Liu.
He played Shang-Chi in one of Marvel's newest movies. Do you want me to pull up a picture so you have a reference?
Yes, because I think I know what he looks like, but I haven't seen the movie.
Okay.
So
I
might be basing this off of his character.
He's a very handsome man.
I love that for him. Yes, he is. He's Canadian.
Yeah.
And does he play? Who does he play?
He plays the main character in Shang-Chi. So he plays Shang.
Okay. I need to see that movie because you've said it's really good.
It's very good. Well, when you use my Disney Plus, you can.
Yes. Okay, so I think that I'm probably going to judge him more on his character that he plays, just because that's what I'm looking at for pictures right now. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
You can go first, yeah.
Okay. I would say he has a lot of swords, so I'm gonna take Hufflepuff off the table.
He also was a model for stock images.
That's
really
hysterical.
Funny. So
that's hysterical.
Before he got big.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Hufflepuff off the table just because
okay.
I think that because he is, I'm gonna go with Gryffindor. I think chivalrous, brave, valiant. When I see swords, that's what I think of. I think you also need to be, wise and clever. I think he's a mix of Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin, but I'm gonna say Gryffindor.
Okay.
What would you say?
I was also gonna say Gryffindor, and again, this is probably going to be my bias in the fact that he's a Marvel superhero. But I feel like I've listened to a lot of interviews with him, and he's very funny. He's very lighthearted. So maybe because of that, I will put him in Hufflepuff potentially. But I would say a lot of Gryffindor energy with a little bit of Hufflepuff energy as well.
Okay. A little bit of Hufflepuff. So that's interesting because I took that off the table first. But
Right.
That's okay. So our next notable figure, call her a celebrity if you want, Queen Elizabeth, which is interesting because we were just talking about monarchs.
So I just pulled up some pictures of her just because I need to get a vibe off of, and she's English too, and
Yes, she is.
It's based on the Harry Potter universe is based in.
Oh, true.
Although,
true.
Did you know that there's an American wizarding school?
I did.
You have to go to Pottermore to learn more about those, but
That's episode
Okay.
29. No, I'm kidding.
let's see. am looking at Queen Elizabeth in all of her many colorful outfits and hats. I'm gonna say Slytherin.
Yeah, I was gonna say that as well.
It's
I think
interesting that the two of us are like agreeing. Like I feel like there must
yeah,
be something to the houses then, or just like the vibes.
yeah. Well, because I just said that Slytherin has a bad reputation, and I don't think that the uh, royal family has the best one right now. Just given
Not right now.
the interview that Meghan Markle did, who what a queen. I watched her when she was on Deal or No Deal. But yeah, no, I would say cunning for sure. And I wouldn't say accomplished because you don't do anything to become the like you're born into it. But yeah, I'm gonna say Slytherin. So we agree.
There is a really interesting documentary on her that my mom watched a couple of months ago. That was just about how she was obviously always a royal, but how she had to then assume that role even if she didn't want to, which is kind
Right.
of an interesting thing.
Yeah, that is interesting.
But I feel like that sounds like, and as we said, the Slytherin house houses a lot of the antagonists in the Harry Potter world, and
Yes.
I feel like that type of story of like having your destiny told for you, even if that's not what you want to do, is enough to breed some sort of like villainesque plot line for yourself. I have
Right.
not that she has or does, but I feel like, like my destiny is to be a queen, but
Right.
I like all I want to do is swim. I don't know, like
Yeah.
so like
Queen Elizabeth, the swimmer.
the Olympic
Um,
swimmer. Yeah.
yeah, and also Professor Slughorn, the potions professor in the sixth book, is a Slytherin, I believe, and he was a
Oh,
really good
okay.
guy. I'm not sure if that's actually true or not, but anyways, moving on to our next celebrity,
Shake it
Tom
up.
Brady. Tom
Tom
Brady
Brady.
is our next. I think that he is also Slytherin with a touch of Gryffindor. So I think he's very determined, very ambitious. I mean, somebody who stays in the NFL to their mid 40s is, in my opinion, ambitious. He's innovative and very accomplished. I would say that a lot of people would say he's cunning, especially with Deflategate, whether you believe that he was innocent or guilty. I actually don't have an opinion on that because I don't follow sports, but I think he fits into Slytherin. He's also, a very confident guy. He's very courageous, so I would say, a little bit of Gryffindor in there, but I think Slytherin, I think this would be an example of a good Slytherin.
I agree. First off, pulling up this Google Images search of Tom Brady as a Patriots fan, it's kind of sad to see that most of these pictures are of him on the Bucks.
I
So
know,
that's kind of a
but
bummer.
yeah,
But
but good on Google Images for staying up to date because
I
of
guess.
that.
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess they take pictures from like the most recent websites and stuff. But anyway, I would
right.
also say Slytherin. I think the thing you said about Deflategate, yeah, absolutely. I think he's very he's confident. He's determined in his abilities. He's got a little bit of an ego, which can
Hmm.
you lead you one way or another.
Right.
Um, yeah, I would say Slytherin too.
Yeah, I agree. Our next prospective student, or not prospective, but new student, is Jennifer Lopez.
I would say that she gives me some like Luna Lovegood vibes.
Interesting.
I don't what do you know what house she was in?
Luna was in Ravenclaw.
She okay, so then I'm gonna put J Lo in Ravenclaw because she's given me some Luna Lovegood vibes. I feel like I forget the adjectives you gave me for
Wise, intellectual, clever, sharp minded, logical, creative.
yeah. Well, especially that creative side. I think
Mm-hmm.
as a musical artist, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
creative. I think yeah. I don't know. I think without saying anything more because I'm stumbling over my words, I'm gonna say Ravenclaw.
Okay. I'm going to say Gryffindor just because I think she's a very confident woman and very like she just did she sang at the inauguration of President Biden I think that takes a lot of courage and just valiance, if you can say it that way. I don't know if that's a word. I when I
It
think
is
of
a word,
her
yeah.
when I think of her as a singer, I'm not sure if she writes all of her own songs or not. Um, I don't know. She might. I know a lot of artists today don't write their own songs. Some do. So I think the ones that do would be in Ravenclaw, but she might, and if she is, then she's definitely creative. Um, so yeah, I would say Gryffindor though. She's very she just gives me a strong vibe.
Sure.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
J Lo. Next I was gonna say next episode. Number 5, student number 5. Oh, so this is a younger celebrity, Addison Rae.
Interesting. The famous TikToker, right?
Yes,
I'm not on TikTok, and
turned
like I
model.
said,
I'm not either.
I'm not. Huh. Um, I don't know much about her. I know that she's
I
from
don't
New
either.
Orleans. I know that she got fame from TikTok. I know that at one point she was the highest paid TikToker
Mm-hmm.
over um, trumping Charlie D'Amelio, right? That's the other
Yes.
famous one. I feel like I'm dating myself because I don't have TikTok. I don't know who these.
I also don't know much about her, and I think a lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about her. But I think, given that she's just a young girl in the media, she probably gets 99% of the hate that she gets is probably not warranted. I think, honestly, she seems like a friendly person to me. I don't know why. Just compared to some other TikTokers, like I feel like all of the stories I hear about her are from like the Snapchat news section, which is so sensationalized and 90% of the time just fake. But I get a friendly um, vibe from her. I want to go with Hufflepuff, honestly.
I feel like she could be like if she was in the Harry Potter universe. For some reason, again, I know nothing about her, but I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it could be like an anti-hero. So someone who was kind of like mean to the main characters like at first, but then
Mm-hmm.
ends up coming on their side at the end. So
Yeah.
like a under the table Gryffindor, but is outwardly Hufflepuff or Slytherin.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes like an undercover Gryffindor, but is
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
outwardly exhibiting Hufflepuff and
All right. I like that.
yeah.
Our next celebrity, number 6, right? Is this number? Yeah, it is number 6 because you're going first. Is Billie Eilish.
Oh, interesting.
So very, very famous singer right now.
Also young.
Also young,
Yeah.
yes. Probably one of the most successful singers right now in terms of relevance. Um, but yeah, I believe she just turned 19 or 20. I'm not sure, but she's young. But very creative and very different from what we've seen. And I would say very instrumental in bringing back a kind of like punk vibe
Hmm.
that we haven't seen since the early 2000s. But I'll let you go first. What do you think she would
I
be?
would say either Ravenclaw or Gryffindor. And
Okay.
I apologize for my indecisiveness because I
That's
keep,
okay.
but I think Ravenclaw. I think she's very smart with her music.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not just she doesn't just put something out to put something out. There's always a
Mm-hmm.
message behind it, or she's always speaking from someplace deeper. Not saying that other artists or don't do that, but I think especially just interviews that I've heard with her and her brother, who she is her writing partner,
Mm-hmm. They do write their own songs.
they're very smart. Like very smart with their writing and very smart with not even just lyrics or melodies, but also bringing in sounds from everyday life. Like for instance,
Mm-hmm.
in Bad Guy, I believe it's Bad Guy. They were in Australia, and you know how when you're crossing the street and you press the button, and then when it becomes the walk signal in a city, like at least in the U.S., it's just like to let you
Mm-hmm.
know that the walk signal is on to cross the street. Well,
Mm-hmm.
they were inspired by the sound that what that sound is in Australia, and they put that sound into Bad Guy,
That's really cool.
which is really I think is really smart and really interesting.
Yes. Also, fun fact about Bad Guy: she was inspired by the theme song to Wizards of Waverly Place. which is sung by Selena
Oh,
Gomez.
I
Yes.
just noticed that there's a similarity there.
Yeah, so she talked about that on I think one of the late night shows. I would say, did you give a you? Oh, you gave, yeah.
I said
I would
either
say
Ravenclaw or Gryffindor. If I'm gonna choose one, I'm gonna say Ravenclaw.
I'm gonna say Ravenclaw too, just purely on the fact that she is very creative and very innovative. I think, and very wise for somebody who's 19. Like, I'm sure she's probably wiser than I am. Um, I think that, yeah, she's just very self-aware. And the reason I put her in Ravenclaw, aside from those reasons, over Gryffindor, is just I think that her confidence at award shows is lacking. Sounds like a negative word, but she's not very like confident in herself. She's very shy, but very humble. But I think wise and clever, intellectual, all of that. So she's a hard Ravenclaw for me. And so this is number 7, right?
Sure, I've lost
Patrick
track.
Patrick Dempsey.
Okay, so this is where the episode shout out to my mom comes in because I asked both my parents for a celebrity and she chose Patrick Dempsey.
Yes, Mrs. Do. So I have not watched Grey's Anatomy. I'm so sorry.
Me neither.
But okay, but I would say he seems like a patient, hardworking, nice guy. So like a Hufflepuff, but obviously very courageous in doing what he does. So I would say a mix of like Gryffindor and Hufflepuff with maybe a bit of Slytherin in terms of resourcefulness, and determined to help people. But
Okay.
also Ravenclaw sharp-minded. I would say it literally goes I would say it goes Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, in that order.
From most to least.
Yes.
Yes. I am going to, for some reason he seems like a very straight line type of guy. Like this is how work goes, and this is he must be creative because he is an actor and things like that.
I was gonna
For some
say
reason he's
straight
very
lined.
serious. He seems very serious.
Straight lined, I wonder what that's like.
So I'm removing Hufflepuff for me at least.
Okay.
I think Ravenclaw is not really shouting out to me for him. I think maybe a Slytherin, maybe a Gryffindor, but I think I'm leaning more towards a Slytherin than I
Interesting.
am Gryffindor.
So that was kind of like the opposite for me, but that's interesting.
Yeah, because you said Slytherin was last, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think I said Ravenclaw was last.
Okay.
I did, but I'm not even too sure on that. But our next celebrity is another huge name right now, Zendaya, and
Ooh, good
her
one.
success in another show I haven't seen, Euphoria, has been praised over and over and over again. And she's also dating Tom Holland, who is Spider-Man, and she's in the Spider-Man movie too. I just don't know who she plays because I haven't
MJ.
seen that either. She plays MJ.
Ravenclaw. For
Okay.
sure. I think Ravenclaw for sure. Just because I want her in my club. Mostly, but also I think she gives off Ravenclaw, and she's very smart. She plays very nuanced characters that even in people sometimes slight the Marvel universe, right? Because it's like, oh, it's a superhero movie, blah 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 blah. But I think even she plays a very nuanced MJ. She always wants to help, like Rue in Euphoria. Just it's a complex character. She plays, I find, very complex characters. Even the character that she plays in The Greatest Showman, just that movie is it's a drama for sure. It's a musical, but her character kind of drives the race conversation in that movie, and just what she brings to that, I think, is a very smart performance, but also a very good performance, and I think it's giving me Ravenclaw energy.
Okay, let me yassify this conversation and say, what about Rocky from Shake It Up? No, anyways.
Yes.
Anyways, I was going to put her in a mix of Gryffindor and Hufflepuff because she seems like very friendly, patient, kind, hardworking. Also just very confident, courageous. But to be honest, I see what you're saying about Ravenclaw with the creativity. So yeah, definitely intellectual. I would say a mix of Ravenclaw and Gryffindor and Hufflepuff. I would say everything but Slytherin for that one.
Okay. If you have
Honestly.
to choose, though.
If I have to choose, I will say I'll say Ravenclaw. I might
Okay.
backtrack on that later. But our next celebrity, number 9, is Kim Kardashian,
Oh,
who recently just dropped to the name West.
Did she?
Yes, legally she is Kim Kardashian now.
Okay. So
Um,
I started with this one, and this one is you.
Okay. So I
We
think
started with the
that
last one.
she has a tiny bit of kindness in there. Not tiny. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, she's barely kind. I'm not saying it like that, but I don't think that's like the thing that jumps out at me as somebody who's never met her. I think that she is a mix of I'll say she's a mix of. This is an interesting mix. An interesting mix of Slytherin and Hufflepuff. Because I think she's very cunning and very business savvy and can be sneaky, but also very innovative and ambitious. Like, she's not afraid to do things, like becoming a lawyer. Like, people make fun of her for that because they're like, oh, she's just like the pretty celebrity who got famous from a sex tape. And it's like, more power to her that she, like, I think she can do anything. She knows she can do anything she wants and that she puts her mind to. And I think that's what makes her a Slytherin. She's very accomplished, whether, you agree or not. But she has a kind side to her that I think is getting shown more. Like, she seems, I don't know if you can even say down to earth and Kardashian in the same sentence, but like, she seems very, tolerant and patient and very soft spoken. So yeah, and she was phenomenal on SNL. So
I would say Slytherin. I'm not a huge fan of the Kardashians. I think that, well, it's hard to say, right? But like, if you're a celebrity and you're not, and like, I'm not a celebrity, but if you're like looking at celebrities, easy to be like, I like them, I don't like them, right? As you kind of just like outlined.
right, yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of the Kardashians. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like she's Slytherin just because I think I see her as a very business oriented person. I think that in terms of what she's doing about trying to exonerate people who have been wrongly accused in
yes,
prison is
that's
a
awesome.
really super duper cool thing that she's doing. I think that fits in Slytherin because of the not witty, but just the drive,
Intelligence
the
and
intelligence,
determination.
and determination. Exactly, yeah. To do something like that, because that's not an easy thing to do.
No, I agree. Our last one is actually a really good one to end because this is probably honestly the most, I mean, gets a lot of hate, but very easily liked celebrity, and one of the reasons she's so famous, Taylor Swift.
I would say Hufflepuff.
Okay.
Because I feel like, well, actually, no, I would say Gryffindor. I'd say Hufflepuff as a second, Gryffindor as a first. Because I think she's very creative. I think she just has a very main character energy, no matter what.
Yes,
faces
for sure.
her.
For sure.
I think that she's a Gryffindor, and I think she's got confidence. I think that she tries to stay pretty down to earth, getting even like, no matter her fame and fortune and all that stuff. Yeah. So I say that. I say Gryffindor.
This one's really hard for me because I think she appeals to a lot of audiences, and in being that figure also appeals to a lot of different attributes of the different houses. I think she definitely has Hufflepuff energy in terms of like her weird awkwardness that she talks about a lot, but in a very relatable way, because she's very popular at the same time. She's like the popular figure that's also has like that secret weird side, like the nerdy side. So I think Hufflepuff is there. She's definitely, I think she's got a little bit of Slytherin in her, in terms of the way she's used her platform, both for good and sometimes like the Bad Blood song really had a lot of people on her side when it was kind of like tearing down another artist that she had felt wronged her. But that's just my opinion on that. But I also think she's very clever with her lyrics and and how she says things, and just her Easter eggs. She's famous for Easter eggs in her art that she makes, and basically, if you don't know, Easter eggs are hints of what's to come. But I think she's also, brave and daring and confident. So she really is like a tough one for me. I would say that it's literally it's a 25% mix all around. Can I say that? I think
this is very
low stakes.
Equal.
Yeah,
I know, low stakes.
She is the Sorting Hat. She is the Sorting Hat. No, I really think she is the 25%.
The Sorting Hat gets placed on her head and it just combusts.
Yeah, and then she becomes the Sorting Hat. I'm leaving it at that. I think she really, really is like.
Let's leave it
appeals.
Open. Listeners, what do you
Yes.
think Taylor Swift is? Is she a Hufflepuff, a Ravenclaw, a Gryffindor, or a Slytherin? Let us know on our social media pages. And
I think she's an icon.
That's a great one. Absolutely.
She's an icon.
No matter
I
what,
love
she's
her.
an icon, but it's what house is she in,
Yes.
That's the question we're really trying to answer here.
Yes. All right, we apologize for the hour and 40-minute episode, but we hope you enjoyed it anyways. My name's Nick Gervasi.
And I'm Justin Dew.
You can reach us at our email, pointofdewpodcast@gmail.com, or by sending us a voice message on our website, anchor.fm/pointofdew. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at pointofdewpodcast and Twitter at pointofdew. If you enjoy our show, give us a rating or review in the Apple Podcast Store, but actually do it, or share us with a friend or family member. We'd really appreciate it and are truly grateful for your support. As always, we hope you have a great week. Thank you for listening, and until next time, H.
As long as we face forward, we will not regret our day. We have believed that we could make it through. That's how we got this high, never looking back. No doubt, keeping it out. This right story's okay. This time we